fans across all the boards that we've been looking at, and also our team as sort of hardcore Turok fans from way back when, we all sort of gravitated towards that first game, and even the first two games. It's sort of like the series got progressively weirder as it went along, and kind of got further.
Having like human lizard hybrids.
Yeah, and crazy, dinosaurs that you're riding with, like, mounted machine guns and stuff. So, like, really wacky stuff. And I think that it took away from that really cool feeling of being immersed in this prehistoric world, being hunted by these incredible prehistoric predators. And that's what we really wanted to get back to. And we wanted to ground the game in sort of this general sense of believability and make it realistic to a point. I mean, obviously fun wins over realism any second of the day, but we did want to give it a believability that we think the last games in the series kind of lacked. Today we showed you one creature in particular that we love, which is the lurker. And this is a really cool creature. It sort of came from this idea of, what if we mixed a jungle cat and a reptile? It kind of ended up looking like a bit of a kimono dragon that moves incredibly quickly. It's able to climb surfaces, so it can climb up rock walls. It can, go up into the trees. And they have this really interesting attack pattern where they'll come racing at you, they'll jump and knock you down, and then before you can turn and start firing on them, they'll sort of run away and hide in the grass again. One of the things that we really wanted to do with the knife is, when you think of knives in shooters, they're pretty much the lamest weapon ever. So we wanted to take the lamest weapon and turn it into the coolest weapon. It was like one of our sort of design goals for the game. And then we sort of took that and carried it across all aspects of the experience. So you can use the knife against creatures. Depending on the creature type, it's more or less difficult to get them in a vulnerable state. A lot of people have been speculating with the bow, being that the bow is this signature weapon for Turok, and it's a weapon that we've poured so much time and love into. People have been kind of speculating about bringing back the tech arrows, and yeah, we're here to kind of let everybody know we definitely have the tech arrows in the game. So those are an explosive tip arrow that you can use to generate all kinds of dino-giving goodness from a distance, so they're a lot of fun to play with. With the bow, when you're using that weapon against enemy soldiers, particularly when they're unaware of you, or if you can get them, get the shot sort of notched up at a distance and snap to and pin the guy, it's awesome for that. It's a little harder for the really fast-moving creatures once they see you. If they're tracking towards you and coursing through the grass at you, it can be a lot more challenging to nail one of those shots. But when you do, it feels great. We've got 16-player multiplayer in competitive settings, so 8-on-8 in a variety of different match types, everything from deathmatch to team deathmatch to capture the flag and ACTF. And then we've also got like an objective-based mode that we call War Games. And then beyond that, we also have 4-player co-op. So we have the game shipping with 3 missions that are co-op missions based on the single-player game, and you can play those with 3 of your buddies and go online and hook up. Every map, every match, everything in multiplayer has dinosaurs or creatures integrated into it, and they're really like the wild card. If you're going through the map, there's usually a number of different routes that you can use, and the most sort of central, quickest route through the map is often through a dino-infested area. So, if you're, say, playing Capture the Flag, you've got the flag carrier is actually carrying this flag that's like a beacon of light that draws all the dinos to it. So if he's trying to take the short route through the map, unless he's sort of really well protected by the rest of his buddies, he's going to get taken out by these creatures. And then the other team can be using those creatures to their advantage, because as soon as you've got a dino on top of you, you're pretty much dead meat. You can be picked off really easily. So it kind of really changes up the experience, and there's nothing quite as satisfying as kind of flaring one of your enemies and seeing a raptor go and tear off his face, or sticking a bomb onto a raptor or other dinosaur and getting him to attack your enemy so that you can blow him up. It's pretty awesome. If you're baited or flared, and someone's lured the dino to you, there's a probably high percentage chance that the dino's going to take to that and come after you. If you then turn around and try to get him off of you by firing a flare somewhere else, there's a smaller chance that he's now going to shift his target once he's kind of locked onto you. So there's a little bit of randomness there, and it plays out a little differently depending on the dino and the situation and his proximity and his aggression level and so on. I think if you look at the first-person shooter landscape, it's incredibly crowded right now. It's very, very competitive. There's some fantastic games that are out there. And I think one of the things that's really our advantage is that as a team, we haven't worked on a lot of first-person shooters. So what that's allowed us to do is, really bring a fresh perspective to it. And we've tried to bring in some aspects that you don't really see in a first-person shooter. So we've got like these third-person sequences, the dino mauling sequences and stuff that really add a level of intensity to the game. We've tried to really create an immersive, grounded, you are in the moment sort of feeling. So, you actually have your body, your feet, your legs are there with you, and when you're getting knocked down, you feel like you're more than just this kind of rotating camera turret, which was really important to us. Our focus in the game has really been on creating dynamic AI systems for the creatures and the human enemies, and then sort of allowing the user to mix and match them together to create all kinds of gaming goodness. So every time you play through an area of the game, there's multiple ways that you can approach it, and depending on the sort of tactics that you employ, it's going to play out a little differently. So there's a lot of strategy in it and a lot of replay value.
Any message for the Turok fans out there?
Believe. I think a lot of the Turok fans have been disappointed with some of the previous games towards the end of the series, or the last couple games in the series. And what we've tried to do is really press reset on the series and totally reimagine it. And I hope that people will give us that chance, go out there, check it out. We've actually got a demo that's out for GameStop and EB Games in November for pre-orders, and then also in Best Buy in December. So if people are sort of still on the fence as far as like, is this new Turok going to be cool, I tell people go out and check it out and decide for yourself.